Hello everyone, welcome to our reading and writing skills class. Hello everyone, we will continue our discussion about the different patterns of development. So let's have first a review. During our last meetings, we discussed these patterns of development. We had narration, description, definition, exemplification, and classification. Last week, we discussed about definition. It means or explains a concept, term, or subject using various techniques. In explaining a concept, examples and illustrations are provided in an exemplification pattern of development, while in classification, ideas are organized into divisions based on criteria or standards. This week, our discussion will focus on comparison and contrast and cause and effect. Let's have first comparison and contrast. When we say comparison and contrast, in this pattern of development, ideas are organized based on how events, places, people, things, and concepts are similar to or different from one another. Comparison and contrast paragraphs are common in writing in many academic disciplines like the humanities, sciences, and business. A paragraph developed by comparison and contrast has a unifying idea or purpose. Also, it must be balanced in such a way that there is an equal amount of information for each subject to avoid bias. It can either be separately or side by side. Let's take a look at this given example. If you can see in this example, the ideas are organized by subject, meaning to say, it involves describing one item first, followed by the second item. The next one is side by side. Obviously, the ideas are organized by point, meaning to say, it involves discussing both items based on each point of comparison. Let's discuss about comparison. To compare persons, things, places, events, situations, or ideas is to show how they are alike. Meaning to say, you need to identify the points of comparison and make a list of similar characteristics. The following are the different signal words that could be used for comparing. Now, please read this given example silently. Can you identify what is being compared? If you can see, in the text, two minds are compared. Each point of comparison is drawn, just like weight loss, hair growth, and energy level. Also, the words both and similarly are used to signal comparison. Now let's move on to contrast. To contrast persons, things, places, events, situations, or ideas is to show how they are different. To do so, you need to make a list of the characteristics or qualities of the subject and then identify the differences between them. The following are the different signal words that could be used for contrasting. Now let's read the given example below. If you can see in the text, two types of startup companies are contrasted. Their different characteristics are stated in two separate sentences connected by the phrase "on the other hand," which signals a contrast between the two subjects. Always remember that you can pick the most effective organizational structure that you will use. So there are several approaches that you can use when constructing the main body of your paper, including focusing on similarities before switching to differences or arranging it point by point, or focusing on one item before moving on to the other one, considering the same set of traits, or arranging all ideas by a block. Now let's have the cause and effect pattern of development. This pattern of development explains why something happens or what results a particular event produces. When we say cause, it refers to the reason for or events leading, while effect refers to the results of a cause or causes. Together, they can be used as a pattern of development in writing. With a cause and effect pattern, the writer can explain how an event or action leads to another. This type of paragraph analyzes the causes or effects of a certain situation. The following are the different signal words that denote cause. And the following are the different signal words that denote effect. Now let's read this paragraph silently to identify the cause and effect pattern of development. If you can see, the first sentence of the paragraph is a topic sentence, and the succeeding sentences in the paragraph identifies the positive effects of daycare. There are different ways on how to use the cause and effect pattern in writing. It can either be cause to effect to cause, or consecutive cause and effect. Let's have first cause to effect. In this type of organization, the cause, which can be an event or action, can be stated right at the beginning of a paragraph, followed by sentences stating the effects. Meaning to say, this type of organization is best for explaining a single cause with different effects. Let's read a given example. Obviously, the topic sentence right at the beginning of the paragraph defines salmonellosis, which is the cause. Then, the rest of the sentences enumerate the effects of the illness. The words consequently and furthermore are used to connect the ideas between sentences. The next way is effect to cause. In this manner, the effect can be stated at the beginning of the text, followed by sentences and paragraphs that expound on the causes. Meaning to say, this type of organization is best for presenting a single effect with different causes. Now let's read a given example. In the given example, the first sentence of the first paragraph states the effect, which is the main idea of the entire text. Then, it is followed by the statement of the first cause and its supporting information. The second and third causes are stated and explained in the next two paragraphs. The third one is consecutive cause and effect. And this type of organization, the causes, each with its corresponding effect, are tackled one by one in a few sentences or a paragraph. Meaning to say, the writer explains each cause and effect completely before moving on to the next cause and effect. Now let's read a given example. If you can see in the given example, the first sentence states the main idea of the paragraph. Then, the next two sentences give the first supporting information. The second sentence is stating the cause, and the third sentence is stating the effect. The other supporting information is stated in the rest of the sentences in the same pattern. Notice the use of the signal words as a result and so to indicate an outcome, and because of and so to signify a cause. Are there any questions regarding comparison and contrast and cause and effect? If there will be no questions, that will be all for today. Bye!